All right, welcome to the PCS grades COVID Q&A with regards to how the STEP movement is impacting our military families and their PCS moves today. If you weren't here with us before, I have Megan Harless, who is a PCS grades or PCS advocate. She's a PCS reform advocate. And before we get started and I let her introduce herself, just want to let you guys know that we'll be taking questions towards the end. We also have some pre-prepared questions that we received prior to this webinar. We'll be holding them weekly, by the way, but with everything that's going on that changes by the minute, there is tons of guidance being passed. So to kick things off, my name is MJ Boyce. I am the Director of Community Outreach at PCS Grades, and I'll be hosting the coronavirus edition of this PCS Q&A. So I'm going to hand it over to Megan now. Would you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and why we're here today?
Yeah, so I am Megan Harless. I am the PCS Reform Lead Advocate. I've been working on changing the PCS process, getting improvements made to it, working alongside Congress, Transcom, and the moving industry for the past year and a half. And we're here today to kind of talk about what the Stop Move means for your PCS. There's a lot of uncertainty right now with what's going to go on this summer, what's going to happen. Are we going to continue with PCSing? So every week we're kind of going to give you an update as to what's happening, what we hear coming down the funnel from Transcom and the DoD, and try to help give you some clarity to your questions and situations to kind of help you out some.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. Okay, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. What updates do we have today?
So the first one deals with the Coast Guard. Is that the Coast Guard has a PCS policy that they're kind of in a way exempt from the DoD Stop Move policy. So if you don't know, the Coast Guard falls under the Department of Homeland Security, not the Department of Defense. So they're funded differently. They kind of operate a little differently because of who their higher headquarters kind of system is. They still plan to do PCS this summer. They are working on trying to get some folks moving now. They have talked about trying to spread out their summer move season a little bit to kind of help offset some of the backlog that is happening. There was a policy notification that was put out, and we'll drop it in the comments when we get done with this and everything, so that way you guys can go in and you can read it and see what it says. It gives some direction and guidance in there as to if you have a move before April 30th, what you need to do, and then from May into June, what else you need to do for that as well. The next update is, so the original guidance from the DoD, the Stop Move notice, was that Oconus moves everything was stopped basically until about May 11th. The DoD about a week later then came out with another Stop Move notice for Oconus personnel and Oconus shipments happening. And so that kind of extends Oconus to May 25th. So we got two different timelines that we're kind of working with right now. The first one being that your CONUS shipments should be starting at May 11th. Oconus should be starting May 25th. I've heard from a lot of families, well, my transportation office says, like, they're not moving anything until May 15th or June 1st or whatnot. You have to understand, everybody is backed up. For just April alone, there's about 20,000 shipments there. And that's not including, what got delayed in March and what's getting delayed at the beginning of May. So if your transportation office is saying, hey, we can't get you in before May 11th, it's not because or before May 15th, it's not because they don't want to, it's because they may not have any capacity within the local agents to get your shipment serviced before then. So you just gotta kind of be patient with that and kind of roll with it, and know that eventually your shipment will get serviced, but it may be a few days there. And then the last update we got is that the Army Emergency Relief, AER, has extended their I'm having a brain fart now, has extended their service basically to include National Guard and Reserve soldiers that are not.
What were they doing before? What did Army Emergency Relief do before?
So basically everything that they do, they offer, it's a financial support to soldiers that are facing some sort of financial hardship, whether it's through housing, issues, or just, their car broke down. With COVID happening, they have other kind of funds that they're using. So if you're stuck in, lodging extended period of time, you can go to them to get some money to help cover some of that lodging costs that you've got.
Got you.
Yeah, and things like that. So normally for National Guard Reserve soldiers, they had to be on Title 10 orders to be able to receive AER funding. They have since, in the past week or so, have decided that they're going to extend their services to National Guard Reserve soldiers that are not on Title 10 orders, because they realize that,
Wow.
they're having some financial issues themselves, and some of them need some of that financial support that AER is able to offer them. So they're kind of getting rid of that requirement for financial assistance and offering it to them as well.
That's fantastic. And I'm so glad. Shout out, Army Emergency Relief. Shout out with support. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit. We had some questions, some pre-sweat questions, and then Megan has some amazing tips on because none of us want to sit here idle and just looking at our stuff when we know it's supposed to be packed up, and we want to be doing something because we can't do anything, it seems. So, but before we get to that, I actually wanted to address these questions really quick. So, they're not really questions. We solicited some questions from our audiences and asked them, how is this impacting you? And a lot of them, I noticed a pattern. There were some interesting concerns. So I'm going to read a couple of them for you. One of them, spouse was 3 days away from leaving their current duty station for the next one, and the movers had already boxed up all of their belongings, and the movers were due to come on the Monday that the stop movement took effect, to put everything on the truck. So her service member was supposed to report on the 6th, and now isn't reporting until June. And currently they're not allowed to unbox everything unless they want to cancel their move and start the process all over again. And it's been really difficult because she's got 3 kids, which props. I know, Megan, you have 3. So again, props. It's been really hard because they can't find anything to keep them entertained. And here's another thing. She said, at least the house at least we didn't clear our house here, so we're fortunate. And that's something that I'm seeing across the board, is a lot of kind of gratitude that, well, it could be worse. That's the story of our lives, right? Let's just be real, it could always be worse. So for this particular spouse, what would be the protocol for her to retrieve some of her items? Is there a process or procedure available for situations like this? What's her recourse?
So her stuff is boxed up in her house. For me, my suggestion would be to see if they can do an exception to policy, especially looking at that they have bought a house on the other end as well. So now they're having to face 2 mortgages as well as having their house boxed up. So the first thing I would say, talk to your spouse's chain of command and get an exception to policy so you could continue your move. You always have the option of, with your stuff already being boxed, seeing if they can come pick it up and go into storage. But that's something we're seeing with a lot of families. They've got 2 mortgages now because they bought on the other end. They're in the middle of their PCS. So I would definitely say, go through, do the exception policy, apply for that. But also, when you do that, keep in mind that when your household goods get picked up, they're probably just going to go into storage. They're at your origin location. They're not going to get shipped right away with you. So you can have them picked up, you can move, and then your household goods will come later. So be prepared for that extended period of time to not have your household goods with you. But I would definitely talk with your spouse's chain of command and see about filing an exception to policy, so that way you can continue the process of your PCS.
That's awesome. Sorry, I was muted there for a second. Technical difficulties would not be military related if Murphy didn't insert himself up in here. Just saying. Which, by the way, I said it before and I will say it again. We are flattening the curve and we are going to flatten Murphy with it. Next. So the next question that we received, not really question, but concern, was, okay, so this spouse was delayed their PCS is delayed, and unfortunately they're due with baby number 2 around the same time that it was delayed until. So they're going to have to make some decisions about what to do. And so what should be her course of action? Should her service member speak with their command about possibly pushing out their PCS a little bit further to allow for baby arrangements and adjustments? Like what is that spouse's recourse?
So yeah, this is a really sucky situation, tough place to be in. My hearts go out to everyone that finds themselves in these positions. And this situation is really going to be a personal preference. With her being, pregnant, they could see about doing an exception to policy, as we mentioned before, and being able to continue on for medical reasons. However, we're seeing with a lot of locations that pregnant women are being considered a high risk category with COVID. So I would definitely, 2 people I would talk to would be her provider, her medical provider, to see what kind of guidance that they give, if, moving and being set up would be the best thing, or if staying put would be the best thing. And then also discuss it with her husband's chain of command also, and see if applying for an exception to policy would help them out in this case to get them moved down and set up at the other location.
Good call. I mean, I really, again, just like you said, my heart goes out to that. My heart goes out to that because I did not necessarily enjoy being, well, hello, I see you have a pupil in the room. See, this is life. This is real life, people. Live and in living color. This is what is happening all over the world right now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thank you, life. Okay, so the last question is, this spouse is also, their PCS orders have been delayed. She resigned her position as a teacher in order to prepare for the move. And they're starting to feel the financial strain from that, in addition to, having to manage 2 households and having their feet in both worlds. So what resources could you suggest? Maybe not necessarily just for financial assistance. I know that we're eligible for employment when we PCS with our service members, but if we did that and then it didn't happen, there are things like, should we look into, are we still eligible for unemployment because it's not our fault, right? And especially having 2 households, like what would you suggest that this spouse look into?
So this is another common situation that we're seeing with a lot of spouses. They quit their job or put in their notice to leave their job because they were planning to PCS, and many of them are planning to, should already be at their next location, and they're not. And they're seeing that financial stress of it. So a couple things I would suggest. One, check to see if your branch of service offers any special incentive pays during this COVID crisis right now. So for the Army, they're offering a hardship duty pay for those that impacted by COVID for a PCS, that they can get up to $100 a day, up to $1,500 a month, I believe. I'm not sure if the other services have something like that, but definitely check to see if you can get that first. That'll definitely help with some of that financial strain on this end. The other thing, we just talked about AER. I know there's the Navy Marine Corps Relief Fund. I know the Air Force has their own emergency relief fund as well. Check with them, see what their guidelines are, what their requirements are, and see if that's something that could maybe apply to you. And then, as you mentioned, unemployment. I don't know all the ins and outs and details of unemployment requirements of them, but I know there are several spouses across the board that have been able to apply for unemployment and be able to receive it. Just because, they're out of a job right now, with many states being in a stay-at-home order and everything, they're not able to get out and go look for another job. So, definitely check the unemployment requirements and see if you can apply for that also.
That's good. That's definitely good advice. I just want to give a shout out to Heather Fallborn. She just said, I just want to say that you guys rock for answering everyone's questions in this crazy time. And we appreciate that you appreciate that. Trust me. This is what we do. I know that I myself, PCSgrades is on full throttle because we understand exactly the normal crazy that's already happening with the PCS process. but especially now, at the very least, we should be passing on information or passing you to the people who have that information. And then Megan, she's again full throttle and a huge friend of PCSgrades because she is a PCS reform advocate. She doesn't play when it comes to our military families in the PCS process. And that's exactly why she's here today. So thank you very, very much for that compliment. I appreciate that. So before I continue and we go on to Megan's amazing tips, by the way, so that we don't just sit here idle, because the idle mind is the devil's playground and we all know how that works, right? Especially when Murphy's involved. So I wanted to take a minute here and say that if there's any questions that we don't know the answer to, if there's any questions where we don't know the point of contact to put you in touch with, we will take that for action and we will get that information or that point of contact for you. All you need to do is ask. That is why we're here. That is why we're passionate about what we're doing. And number two, no matter what we say here, everything changes daily by the minute. So it's very important that what is true today may not be true tomorrow, and that your situation might change today or tomorrow and look totally different on Friday. And by then I know you'll be like, is it 5 o'clock yet? Like it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Like Murphy does that to us. COVID is now doing that to us. But the most important thing you need to know is there are 2 points of contact that is the end all be all of all information to your specific situations. And that will always and forever be your local chain of command and your local transportation office. Those are the most accurate and reliable sources because they know you individually, your situation at that location, and they are handling your stuff. So that is very important to know. We are fillers and we're going to do everything we can to assist you to that point. So without further ado, Megan, how are we not supposed to sit on our hands right now? Give us something to do, because I know that homeschooling is driving a lot of people crazy. And I know that there are so many things we just need to do something. We just need to do something right now because we're sick of looking at boxes or we're sick of looking at our stuff when we know it's supposed to be gone in a minute. So we need you and your sage advice. What can we do right now?
So yes, a lot of people are stuck, either their PCS hasn't started, they've got, half packed boxes, their boxes packed, not sure what they can do. So some things that you can do during this time in the stop move, either if you're paused for your PCS, it's on hold due to the COVID and the stop move order, or if you're waiting this summer, the first thing is to start your purge. A lot of us are at shelter in place locations. We got a lot of extra time on our hands suddenly, not sure what to do. So start that purge. If you have, that box that has just, been sealed shut since move number 2 and you're on move number 9 and it's just, gotten moved from one house to the next house and you just shove it in a closet somewhere, now's the great time to open it up, see what's in there, clean out, get rid of things that you don't want to move, that you're not going to use, that you're done with, that your kids no longer play with. Not only do you not have to unpack it at the other end and find a place for it to go, but you also don't have that extra weight. So go ahead, start your purge, start your clean out, get rid of what you don't need to move. The second thing is, it's become very popular in the last several years as we have seen some missing items show up, is to get those labels ready. A lot of people, they either get a self-inking stamp or you can print off labels using the address label template at home. Usually includes your name, email addresses, maybe a phone number. People like putting them on their boxes and on their stuff. So if something shows up missing and it gets into somebody else's shipment, they can be able to contact you and say, hey, we've got your missing box. So go ahead and get those labels ready. That's usually like an afterthought, when you feel like you've done everything and you're just like, I'm missing something. What is it? Get those labels ready, because it's usually the labels are the last thing and then you're scrambling trying to get them made and put together. So do that. Do your inventory. A lot of us like to inventory things. If you have a collection, your high value items, books, video games, movies, whatever it may be, go ahead and start your inventory now. So you're not doing it the week up. Do a little bit each day, but then by the time it comes for your stuff to get packed up and moved, you've already got your inventory and you're not scrambling to do that. So the next two kind of go hand in hand, pre-packing and packing. I pre-pack everything pretty much. I enjoy not having the Legos just dumped into the box or my junk drawer just dumped into the box and trying to figure all that out when I'm unpacking at my new home. So go ahead and start that pre-packing for things that you can. If you've gone ahead and changed out your winter clothes for your summer clothes, go ahead and box up your winter clothes. I talked with some moving companies about what can families start doing to kind of help make the process a little better during this time. And a lot of them said, if they want to go ahead and start packing something, they can go ahead and do it. Their only ask was that when you pack a box, don't seal it shut. They have to be able to look inside. They have to be able to verify the contents for the inventory and whatnot. So, if you got your garage and you want to go ahead and pack it up so that way it's, less work to do on packing days and they can quickly get in and get out, go ahead and pack it up. Just don't seal your boxes shut. And then I would prepare for delays on the receiving end. We know the stop move order has created such a big backlog of shipments. There's a lot of shipments sitting in warehouses right now that are going to have to get delivered, before others get delivered. So there's going to be a backlog. So prepare now for that delay. So if you think to yourself, what do I need to get by for an extended period of time without my stuff? Add it to your pack pile that you're going to take with you. Put in your crock pot, your instant pot, your blender, whatever it may be, so that we can prepare now.
That would be my coffee pot. I'm not even kidding you. I'm just going to pause here. I just have to insert this. So coffee is very important to me. It is the liquid of life. And whenever we PCS, that thing not only stays in my vehicle, it stays in an actual seat with a seat belt because that is not getting broken. Boom.
Yes. Coffee is vital, and we're beginning of April, moves are still delayed. You're still using your coffee pot, your crock pot, instant pot. Make a list of what it is that you are going to need on the other end for that extended period of time. So that way when your move starts and it comes that time, you've got your list and you can pull that appliance out of the cupboard and put it in your pile. So if you're still using it, make that list and go ahead and get that started. The last thing I've got is save for the expenses. A lot of us, we had vacations that have been canceled. We've got, other things that have been canceled, airline tickets, getting refunds. This is life right now. All my kids are home from school. So all those refunds that you're getting from trips canceled, from other plans that are canceled, go ahead and take that extra money, add it to your PCS fund. And that way you have a bigger cushion when it comes time to move. Because, with the delays, if you don't want a house camp, you're going to be in a hotel longer. So you're going to want to have that extra fund to pay for those expenses up front and to not be out of pocket and have that extra debt.
Absolutely. You know what? Wait, come on back.
Baby.
Let me say that today is the kickoff of Month of the Military Child. And we are so very excited that here we have a real life military kid. How exciting is that? I'm so excited. So I just want to say that I appreciate you, kiddo. And we love to see that. Oh, that's a cute face. That's a Megan face. And we're glad you're letting us borrow your mom because that's really important. She does great work.
Mm-hmm. You say hi. She wants to be on camera in the background being silly, but when it comes time, she's just like,
well, wait a minute. No, can you do me a favor? Oh my gosh. So PCSgrades just launched the hashtag Move for Mill Kids challenge. And we're looking for people, not just military kids, but also their parents, mom. So to share a video of them moving and dancing, it's a dance challenge. So share a video of you dancing with mom on social media, and then you guys get to challenge somebody else to do it too. And we just do that. We're doing that for all of April so that all military kids can smile and laugh and have a great time with their parents and see how much everybody loves them. Is that cool? Isn't that a great idea? Yeah.
No, you are not. We're going to dance and have fun.
Yes.
You're going to get picked from the tooth fairy tonight because you lost your tooth, right?
Congratulations.
Yeah. So you want to show them your tooth you lost? Down in the front.
Very nice. See, that's a rite of passage right there, just like PCS, right, guys?
Yes.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you, Megan, so much for coming on and talking with. We're going to be doing this weekly, and we're going to be having other guests on as well. We're going to be having people who can come talk about the real estate factor if you're buying or selling, and this COVID thing, totally, the stop movement totally kind of mess that up. They're going to be able to give you the information that you need in order to move forward. We're going to be talking with people from, you know, the nonprofit sector and what they're offering, what other people are offering. We're going to be talking to, you know, potentially talk to movers, and, you know, we're going to be talking to people in that industry. We're going to be talking to everybody who has a hand in what it is that we are currently going through and how military families are impacted by the stop movement with their PCSs. My last call to action is, if you have any questions, you leave them in the comments below and we'll get to them. We want questions for this week. We want questions for next week. We'll answer them in real time. We'll answer them offline. We'll answer them in every way possible. Give us your questions and we will get you those answers. So Megan, thank you again for coming on to this PCS Q&A, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for it.
All right. Bye, everybody.